Welcome everybody to my driver ratings for the 2025 Canadian Grand Prix. If you're new to the stream, every single Monday after a Grand Prix weekend, we hop on Twitch and we have a look at the race highlights, the drivers' reactions. We look at F1 Play, F1 Predict, F1 Fantasy and F1 Predict. We look through Discord, all the news and memes, and then at the end, we end with a driver rating segment where we go through every single driver in reverse finishing order from the race and rate them from 1 to 10. And yeah, do that on both Twitch and YouTube. So if you're watching over on YouTube right now, come over to the Twitch stream. That is where you'll be able to vote on a poll. Now, unfortunately, the poll website, the website they usually use for polling you guys for the drivers, isn't working. So we're not going to have polls up here like we normally do for today's stream. So instead, just type in chat the number of what you want to vote for, and that's how we'll do it today. And then obviously I'll still do my ratings. It's just we won't have the polls, unfortunately. But yeah, let's get into it. Starting off with the first driver. Oh, before we get into it, as per usual, disclaimer: this is ratings purely off of performance. That's how I do my ratings, at least. I rate them based off of qualifying and the race. 1 meaning you absolutely did shit, you crashed in both sessions, you were slow. 10 meaning you were perfect. So yeah. 5 is like average for me. I do it purely off of performance. There's no bias on, oh, well, they're a rookie, or, oh, they should do better because that's their standard. No, just purely off performance. So let's get into it. Starting with the first driver. In 20th, we have got Alex Albon. Let me know in chat what you vote for Alex. Again, we're not going to have polls today, which is unfortunate, but you'll still be able to type in chat what you think. But yeah, it's only 65 in Denmark. It's pretty nice here. Let your mods do the Twitch polls, bruh. Like I said, with the Twitch polls, people can't type in chat. They have to click. I prefer actually visually being able to look at it. But also, we can only do up to 5 on the poll, which just wouldn't make sense. So, yeah. What else I missed in chat? Tate McCrane, F1, amazing collab. Yeah, it's a great collab. Sup, Jimmy Sears, well on the stream, dude. Two-mins for F1 movie? Wait, you're saying it starts in 2 minutes? Oh, you bet. I should be meant 2 hours. 2 hours. Who we got in the YouTube chat, by the way? Lando, the editor. Russell did great. Sup, dude. Sup, Alex Davis. If it's a team, then Merc. What a move on Oscar. Best driver was Anthony, in my opinion. What's up, Speed Bird? It's purely on performance, then just George. All right, let's go through. So, starting off for Alex Albon. So, in qualifying, Alex somehow made it through to P10, despite having his fucking engine cover blow off at the start of the session. Yeah, he out-qualified his teammate by 1/10. But that 1/10... No, sorry, by 4/10. But you got to keep in mind that Sainz got impeded by Hadja, so you can't really compare Albon to Hadja. To Sainz, which makes it kind of hard this weekend to rate Albon. But yeah, he started P10. During the race, Williams did an absolutely horrid strategy, and he ended up retiring. Yeah, it's really hard to rate Albon, to be honest. Like, he did good to make it through to Q3. I would have liked to have seen him out-qualify Hadja and get closer to Alonso, though. His race pace was decent, but it's kind of hard to tell because of his shit strat. And then, obviously, his car exploded. So, yeah, really, 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 really hard to rate Albon. I don't even know what to give them. What do you guys think? 4, 4, 4, 5? But was it Hadja? But was it a below average performance from Albon, or was it just the car? I don't know. I feel like I'm just going to give Albon a 5. I'm going to give him a 5. I could probably give it inconclusive because it's hard to tell, but I'm going to give him a 5. Like, it's kind of hard to tell, hard to compare him to his teammate in qualifying. I think he could have done better in qualifying, and his race pace wasn't that great, but wasn't amazing, but it wasn't that bad because of the strategy he was on, and then ultimately retiring. We'll just go with a 5. We'll put it smack bang in the middle. But yeah, he drove to the grass 2 times. He drove in the grass 2 times, reckon. Albon did alright. His DNF lowers him to a 5. Yeah, but remember, we're just doing performance, not the result. Not his fault in all situations. Tried to overtake Colapinto, but failed. Still didn't give up position. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, he went for the overtake around the outside of Colapinto, and then had to cut over the grass, and then jumped, and that might have damaged his car. So you could argue that might have been his fault. I'm gonna say 5 though. I'm locking a 5. But yeah, a shame we don't have the polls, but we will move on to the next driver. All right, next up, we have got Liam Lawson. What do you rate Liam Lawson's weekend out of 10? Type in chat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me check one more time if the poll website's working. At the hotel. Nope, still not working. Okay, Liam Lawson. So Liam, really bad qualifying. He got out qualified by Hadja by 3/10. Hadja made it all the way through to Q3 and qualified P9. But Liam went out in 19th, just ahead of Gasly. So very, very disappointing from him. Unlike usual times, nothing to do with DRS, nothing to do with battery. He just couldn't string the lap together. And then in the race, he finished in... Well, he would have finished in dead last if it wasn't for a retirement. But the retirement was because he was just nowhere that they thought they may as well save the engine. Look, he was also on that weird strategy of just staying out. And then once he pitted, nothing really happened. It was a really fucked strategy. But he also had like absolutely no pace. Yeah, I thought Liam had a really bad weekend. Really poor pace. I'm going to give him a 2.5, I think. I feel like usually I don't go below 3 if they haven't had a crash. But he was just really slow in quali and really slow in the race. Actually, no, I'll go 3 because technically like 3/10 is not as bad as some of the other teammate gaps in qualifying. And I mean, Hadja also had a poor race. But overall, it was just very poor, man. It's just very poor. It's gotten to the point now with Liam where I'm just like what's happening? Like, he's consistently getting out qualified by Hadja, and he's consistently just not able to do anything in the race. It's so tough. It is so tough. 2 easy crash quali and race. 3, 2, 3, 5. 5? Really? You'd give him a 5. Just couldn't perform. A 3. Very poor, unfortunately, for you. Quali and race, just no pay. Yeah, because this needs to be dropped. 2 out of 10, bad quali, bad race. You go with 3. Spanish Grand Prix. Wait, does the title say Spanish Grand Prix? Oh, what the fuck? The title says Spanish Grand Prix? Thank you for spotting that. Should not be the title. Hotel. There we go. Updated. Thank you for letting me know. Didn't even realize. Alright. That was good now. Oh my god. I'm blind. Time to win that DTM championship for Liam. Yeah, maybe go back to DTM and win that real quick. Alright. Liam, done. Let's move on to the next driver. Next up, we've got the final DNFer. We've got Lando Norris. Now, he technically got classified as 18th, but I hate that shit, so... we're classing. I always, if you don't finish the race, you get DNF. As simple as that. Anyways, Lando Norris, what do you rate him out of 10? Now, this is a spicy one. This is an interesting one to talk about. I was thinking about putting Lando Norris in the thumbnail on YouTube for the ratings, but I was like, no, we'll do Russell. We'll do Russell because he actually did really good this weekend. My god, why is my water boiling hot? What? Okay. Anyways, Lando Norris in qualifying. He got out-qualified by his teammate by 5/10. He made a mistake on his banker lap, and he made a mistake on his final lap. He got out-qualified by Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Antonelli, and then obviously his teammate. Now, obviously, we'll talk about it more once we get to Piastri, but I also thought Piastri was pretty disappointing this weekend. So for Lando to do even worse than him is crazy. The thing is, though, Lando was the quicker driver in Q1 and Q2 throughout all the practice. So I think Lando's pace was there. Then, in the race, Lando was on a good strategy, I think. Really good strategy. And he made the hards work really, really well. To the point where he caught up to Piastri because Piastri's pace was lacking, which we'll talk about later. And was going to go for the overtake. So at this point, I would have given Lando probably a 3 for qualifying because it was terrible qualifying. Then in the race, I probably would have given him maybe like a solid 7, depending on if he finished ahead of Piastri or Antonelli. But then he crashed in the back of Piastri. Makes a very, 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 very poor mistake. And throws away, what, at least 12 points in the championship on his teammate and for his team. Yeah. Very poor. Very poor. So I don't know what to rate Norris here. He's crashed. He's thrown away points. But he was quick. But at the same time, it doesn't matter if you're quick if you just throw it away. So I don't know. What did I give Max last week? I remember last week I gave Max, I think, a 4 or 5. And it was that logic of like, he was so good, but that one moment cost him. Whereas Lando had more than one moment and I don't think he was as quick as Max. I don't know. I'm thinking like a 3 or 3.5. But what do you guys think? 4, 3, 1. Lando has more clout. He'll get more clicks. 2, 2, 7, 6. He wasn't able to race wheel to wheel, but the issue then the issue was, man, I hate F1 fans. They're not all of them are stupid because they wait, man, I hate F1 fans. They're not all of them are stupid. Wait, what, Kareem? So he qualified poor, too many mistakes, and previous weekend I gave Max a 6 because it didn't affect other drivers. So I'll put 4 for Lando because the move is not. Yeah, I think I gave Max a 5 last time. I think Lando did worse than Max, and I think he also made more mistakes than Max. So I don't know. I think a 3 is fair. I think messing up twice in qualifying, being majorly outqualified by your teammate, and crashing out of the race, I think would warrant you a lower rating than 3. The only reason I'm giving him a 3 is because his pace was really good in the race. And his pacing quality was good if he didn't mess it up. So, yeah, I'm going to give him a 3. I'll give him a 3. But at the end of the day, like, results-wise, it's a fucking 1. Like, you just thrown away all those points battling your teammate, man. But yeah, what do you guys think? I like that Lando was giving a fight in the race, but yeah, poor result. Oh, yeah, from an entertainment standpoint, fuck yeah. 100%. Top 10 cars struggling to overtake. Wait, who you talking about top 10 car? You talking about Lando? You talking about Lando? If you finished ahead of Piastri, it would have been a 6 at least. Oh, if you finished ahead of Piastri, it would have been way better result. It would have been like a 7 or like a, yeah, 6 true without the mistakes. Yeah, why do I feel like it should be a 2.5? Why do I feel like it should be a 2.5? Like, wait, let's deep this for a second, right? I've given him the same rating as Liam. Lando was further off Piastri. Lando was further off his teammate than Liam was. Liam didn't make a mistake. Lando made 2. In the race, yes, Lando was obviously way quicker than Liam was. But Lando crashed himself out of the race. Part of me feels like it should be a 2.5. Part of me feels like it should be a 2.5. Give 4 for Alan 4. It's up Mario 7. Yeah, I think I'm going to lower that to 2.5. I think it was a very shocking weekend for Lando. Especially considering... And the other reason why I've lowered it is we'll talk about later with Piastri. I don't think Piastri had a good weekend. And he was still not able to beat Piastri, which is just crazy to me. The thing with throwing away the championship, I prefer him trying something and crashing than just following behind Piastri. I agree and disagree with you. I like that he battled him. But it was such a bad mistake. And also... I disagree. I think crashing and throwing away points is not better. Is way worse than staying behind and getting a solid point, getting some points, and keeping the gap minimal. It was just such a disaster. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go 2.5 for Lando. Sorry, sir, but it's the truth. Next up, we have got Lance Stroll. What do we rate Lance Stroll out of 10? Let me know in chat. If you're watching on YouTube right now, come join us on Twitch. Usually I'd have a poll up, but for some reason the poll ain't working, fam. Oh, why isn't the poll website working? Also, it's so hot in my room. I'm dying, bro. I'm literally dying. Also, what is this hair, man? This hair's like annoying me. Why is this one hair? Anyways, Stroll. Home Grand Prix, guys. Home Grand Prix. So, Stroll qualified P18. He did out-qualify Liam and Gasly. Oh, but, no, he got out-qualified by his teammate by 5/10. And then and yeah, he got out-qualified by Bortoletto, Ocon, Bam, and Sainz, who didn't even get a lap in. Hulkenberg, Colapinto, like, everyone, basically. And then in the race, obviously, because he qualified so bad, he was stuck in traffic. And then he... did a stupid move on Gasly, got 10-second penalty, and finished dead last in the race. And prior to the safety car, he was dead last. So yeah, very poor weekend for Stroll. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give him a 2. Poor qualifying, poor race pace, mistake in the race that gave him a penalty. While his teammate's finishing in the points. So yeah. At least he didn't crash out of the race, right, guys? That's a positive. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a 2. Should have took an extra week off. Oh, 100%. In hindsight, should have taken an extra week off to heal. But he wouldn't want to do that and give another driver a chance to show him up. Oh, excuse me. He had surgery on his head and he improved position. He improved position, did he? He improved one position on 3 people who retired. Never going to provide a banger quality behind teammate. Nowhere in the race. Only got 17 due to DNF. He absolutely loses a point for the way he forced Gasly off. This is the 22nd consecutive quality in which he is under Alonso 22 times consecutively. Wait, he's been out-qualified by Alonso 22 times? I mean, that shouldn't happen. But I'm not surprised that happens because it's Alonso. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But I guess the argument is like people out qualified Lewis. Charles got qualified by... Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. 29 in a row is crazy though. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to give Stroll a 2. Alright, next up, we have got Isaac Hadja. Sad to see him this low down this week compared to normal. Yeah. Alright, Isaac Hadja. Where is he? In qualifying, he qualified at P9. He qualified his teammate by 3/10, but most importantly, made it through to Q3. He out-qualified Albon as well, Sonoda, Colapinto, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Ocon, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, honestly, he did really good in qualifying. I would have liked to have seen him closer to Alonso. He's 3/10 off of Alonso, but and even capitalizing on Leclerc and Norris, who fucked up their laps. But other than that, he's done okay. And I think he admitted as well he should have done better. So I'd say like a good qualifying, but could have been better. Excuse me. And then he got a penalty in qualifying. So yeah, again, his fault. Block signs, started the race in P12. Kind of got stuck in the traffic because of that. And yeah, V-carb going long. Strat didn't work, and he managed to finish in 16th in the end. Look, I don't think Isaac's had a bad performance weekend. I think he's just had a bad result. But then again, to be fair, the result has stemmed from his mistake in quali, which was his fault. So yeah, I think it's only fair we give him a below average weekend because he caused it. But his pace of qualifying was there. Who knows what he would have been able to do in the race though. So yeah, I'm thinking a 4. I agree. I'm thinking a 4. Started 12th due to penalty. Stroll finished the race and you give him the same rating as a driver who DNF'd. Yeah, but the difference is though that driver who got a high rating was actually fucking quick in the race. That's the only difference. But yeah, yeah. Worst weekend since round 1 in your opinion? Yeah, probably is, to be honest. Probably is, yeah. Sup S Gill, how's it going? The penalty was bullshit. The penalty for Stroll was bullshit, you reckon? I disagree. He moved under braking on Gasly. Slam dunk 10-second pen. That incident could have been way worse. How are you, Christian Horner? I'm doing good, Salim. I'm not Christian Horner though, but thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna give Hadja a 4. Alright. Next driver, who we got? Pierre Gasly. All right, what do you rate Pierre Gasly out of 10? He had a bit of an interesting weekend, didn't he? Or sorry, an under the radar. Well, not even under the radar. Under the radar's not right the word. Just a nowhere weekend, really. But yeah, guys, if you just tuned in the stream, welcome. We are doing weekly? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Our Grand Prix review. Every single Monday after a Grand Prix weekend, we hop on Twitch, we watch the drivers, the race highlights, the drivers' reactions. We look at F1 Fantasy, F1 Predict. We look through Discord at all the news. And then at the end of the stream on Twitch and YouTube, we do our driver ratings. So, yeah, be sure to tune in every Monday for this, or after a Grand Prix weekend. If you're watching on YouTube right now, come join us on Twitch. Unfortunately, I normally have polls here that you can vote on, but the poll website's down right now, so we're not going to have polls. So just type in chat what you want to vote for, and we'll just have to do it that way instead. Steelawi, thank you for the follow, dude. We're on the stream. Okay, so qualifying. Pierre Gasly qualified P20. He got out-qualified by 4/10 by his rookie teammate, Franco Colapinto. So yeah, very disappointing qualifying from Gasly. He even got out-qualified by Liam, by Stroll, by Bortoletto, Ocon, Behrman. Tough. And then in the race, because of that, he was not able to move up the grid really at all. I mean, he finished ahead of Hadja, Stroll, and Stroll, but he finished 2.5 seconds behind Colapinto. Or, sorry, before the safety car came out, he was 2.5 seconds behind Colapinto. So I don't even think he really even had the race pace either. Look, at the end of the day, he didn't crash. He did get tangled up in that Lance Stroll moment as well. But yeah, he was just slow. So I'm thinking a 3. Usually, if you're as slow gets, it's a 3. Because he didn't have any incidents. You get below a 3 if you start making mistakes and stuff. So yeah. Anonymous Race did bad qualifying, but I think Alpine is the worst car right now. You think Alpine is the worst car right now? I don't think the worst car right now, but I think they're up and down like Haas. Like one weekend they're good, one weekend they're not. You did a good job in the race, but the quali was hard to watch. Nowhere near Colapinto. By far, the engine is trash. I mean, the engine is the worst. What is this thing on my beard? Is that a gray hair, guys? Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about Gasly, so we'll move on. 3 for him. Next up, Gabriel Bortoleto. I'm glad that we can actually start rating the Saubers. Usually the Saubers are like, I don't know what to rate them, we're moving on. But yeah, we can actually rate the Saubers quite nicely now. What was I going to say? Okay, yeah, Bortoleto. So, Bortoleto went out in Q1. He got out-qualified by his teammate by only 60 milliseconds. I think what Bortoleto said in the interview is right, though. He could have made it through to Q3, but it's so marginal. I think that's where the Sauber was probably expected. Again, I think he could have made... sorry, not Q3. Q2. I think he could have made Q2, but he didn't. So, yeah, mid qualifying. I mean, he out-qualified Stroll, Liam, and Gasly, though. And then in the race, his teammate managed to finish in the points, and Bortoleto finished in P14. Prior to the safety car coming out, Bortoleto was 2, 3, 10, 18. Wow. 21. No, 32 seconds off of Hulkenberg. But I'm assuming they're probably on different strategies and stuff. Either way, below average qualifying, or let's say average qualifying for Bortoleto, average race pace. Yeah, I think for that reason we got to give him like a 4.5, maybe just below average. I think he could have done more in Q1 and he could have done more in the race, but then again, not much more he could have done in the race because of his qualifying. So yeah, we're going 4.5 just because Hulkenberg was able to capitalize and he wasn't. But yeah. Actually, we're probably being nice to Bortoleto here. I'm going 4. I'm going 4. I'm being too nice to him. His teammate got points and he's in 14th. Like, no. Has the car gotten better or is it the drivers? I think the cars... yeah, I definitely think they brought some upgrades with the car, 100%. Oh my god, excuse me. I'm sick at the moment. So, like, if you keep hearing me, like, drink... If I drink water a lot or I'm, like, sniffling, that's why. Alpine, Haas, and Sauber alternate between being the slowest. Yeah, I agree. It's nice that we don't have, like, a clear last place team anymore. It's actually really good. By the way, guys, if you're also just tuning in the stream, the F1 movie, wait, what the fuck? Why does it say it's starting at 8:30? Wait, look how fucked this is. So, if I go on YouTube right now, wait, this is so clapped. Okay, so if I go on YouTube right now, it says world premiere starts at 10:30 p.m. my time, right? Then if I go on Twitter, it says starts at 8:30 p.m. And then if I click on it, it says it starts at 7:30 p.m. Make your mind up. That has to be shown local time then, right? That's so clapped. Anyways, what I was saying was, in 2 hours' time, we're going to be watching the F1 movie world premiere, red carpet, live from New York. So stick around on the stream today. Anyways, back to this. I'm getting Bortoleto a 4. Anything else to say about Bortoleto? I don't think so. When your GOAT is edging retirement. They couldn't pass the Sauber, even the DRS on the straight. Has Kevin and Nico put Haas on the map, then they effed it up again, and 3 for Bort. Next race, the Alpines would be dead last with all those straights. What's the next race? Austria. True, yeah, true. New York is 5 hours behind. It's just fucked. Yeah, that's whack. That's whack. All right, moving on. Next driver. P13, we've got Franco Colapinto. I actually think Franco had a pretty decent weekend for his standards, and relative to his teammate. But yeah, what do you guys think? So Colapinto qualified P12. He out-qualified Gasly by 4/10. He out-qualified Hulkenberg, Behrman, Ocon, Bortoleto, Stroll, and Liam. I think he qualified exactly where I'd expect the Alpine to be, or could be. Again, I don't think it's the clear worst car. And I think like Sauber, they can be making Q2, and he did exactly that. So I think he's had a decent qualifying there. And then in the race, he's finished in P13, obviously with retirement and stuff in front. He's lost a position of Behrman, Alcon, Sainz, and Holt. Okay. But yeah, he's managed to finish 2.5 seconds ahead of his teammate as well. Look, it's not great, but I think for the Alpine and for his, well, again, I don't want to give him a rating for his standards, but I think for the Alpine, I think he's had a decent weekend. Out-qualified his teammate, done well in qualifying, regardless of where his teammate is. And then in the race, like, I just guess not being able to capitalize on the situation he was in. Probably could have been better in the race. So I'm going to give him maybe like, 5.5 or 6. Maybe we'll give him a 6. Maybe that's being a little bit kind, but we'll go 6. Good to see him back to where, like, the form that we, I guess, expected from him coming into the seat. Tahor, what is up, dude? Welcome to the stream. 4, because I haven't really been paying attention to him much, so I don't really know. Good question. Good start of the race. Trash finished with the 50+ hards and engine. Oh, he's one of the 50+ hard runners, right. Start and Park Racing. What is up, dude? Welcome to the stream. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, be sure to follow down below. We are live with F1 content all the time, specifically Monday after Grand Prix weekend. We do this review like we're doing right now. 6 because he's a rookie and terrible car. Yeah, but we don't want to give them rookie bias. You know what I mean? We don't want to give them an inflated rating just because they're a rookie, you know? But yeah. Anyways, next driver. Next driver, we have got Yuki Tsunoda. Oh my god, what a tough weekend for Yuki. Be careful, Ponden. Your name might be noted. I think it's above average from viewer point of view, but driver-wise, nothing special. Wait, what do you mean my name might be voted? What do you mean by the Colapinto fans? Yeah, Yuki, man, tough weekend. He qualified P11. Actually, that's not as bad as I thought. He got qualified by his teammate in Q2 by 0.5. He got qualified by Albon, by Hadjar, and by Alonso, and obviously all the other big dogs. But he did not qualify everyone else. So, look, I think for the current Red Bull standards, P11 isn't that bad. But again, we're rating purely off of no bias, no nothing. We're purely performance. And 5/10 off your teammate and 9 positions down is not great. And then in the race, he somehow managed to go back with a driver retiring. He finished in P12. Does anyone know what his strat he was on? He was 8 seconds down on Behrman, who was 8 seconds down on Sainz. So he was technically 16 seconds off of points. Yeah. I think he's had a below average qualifying. I think he's had a, like, again, taking out the fact that we know the second Red Bull 6 sucks. I think he's had a below average qualifying. He's had a below average race pace, and for that reason, I think I'm going to give him a 3. I think I'm going to give him a 3. But then again, comparing him to other drivers, comparing him to other drivers, I've given Liam a 3, and Liam was closer to his teammate than Yuki. I mean, probably had the same race pace as Yuki. Like at the end of the day, Max finished P2 and Yuki's finished P13. Like, I don't know. Maybe it is lower than 3. But then again, like, he didn't get damaged. He didn't do anything wrong. So he's just slow. So, I don't know. Maybe just go 3. Because at this point, we know that's the second Red Bull seat. And maybe we should be rating the second Red Bull seat based off of the second Red Bull seat. But, yeah. Oh, no, true. He started from last. True, he started from last place. Forgot about that. Okay, we'll leave it at 3 then. Because he was able to move up the field. True. 6's qualifying was average for him, but then his race was good and made up plenty of positions. 11th and Red Bull was okay, just when Yuki started before it was awful. I mean, he finished 13th in the race, keep in mind. 5, I love Yuki, but he's made a lot of mistakes, and they keep adding up. Rating just driver or is it equipment in principle? We're just doing purely performance. Yuki has qualified P8 in the Red Bull before. Yeah, true. Popinado and Start and Park Racing. Thank you guys for the follows. We're on the stream. Alright, I don't really have much more to say about Yuki, so we'll move on. Alright, next up, we have got Ollie Behrman. What do you rate Ollie Behrman? Out of 10. Yuki just needs to get quality together, and I suspect he'll be fine in the race. Ollie Behrman, what do you rate him out of 10? The Haas's were very under the radar this weekend. Now, under the radar is the right word to use because they were not really seen. They didn't really do much, but it was positive. It was positive. Anyways, Ollie, in qualifying, he out-qualified Ocon by 0.3. They both made it through to Q2, ahead of Bortoletto, Stroll, Lawson, and Gasly. But yeah, so I think they did what they needed to do, which is, again, those back marker cars, it's just about who's going to do the better lap, and they both did a better lap. And Behrman did a better lap than Ocon to make it through. Sorry, to qualify ahead of him. I would have liked to see them... Excuse me. I would like to see them battle Hulkenberg and Colapinto for those spots, but yeah, at the end of the day, Behrman's out-qualified Ocon. And then in the race, Behrman's managed to miss out on points. Ocon's managed to get 9th. How's that happen then? Did Ocon just pit? It seems like Ocon pit and Ocon... That's right. It seems like Behrman pit and Ocon stayed out. Okay, so Ocon's just benefited from the strategy then. Was Behrman's missed out. Yeah, I guess Ocon... I guess Behrman's had a good weekend. He's out-qualified his teammate. He's qualified where the car should be. And his race pace was good. He just didn't get lucky with the strategy like Ocon did. So I'm going to say... Yeah, I'm going to say like a 6. I'm going to say a 6. Do you know he's in New York? Behrman. Yes, I did. We'll be watching the F1 movie stuff later. 2, he may be a rookie, but he needs to be consistent. I haven't seen it yet. Wait, you talking about 2 for Behrman? What? Ocon had better strat, yeah. Back market cars. Yeah, okay, so majority you seem to be agreeing with me on the 5 or the 6. I'd say above. It was above average for Behrman. I mean, like, qualified well, he just didn't get the good strat. Diego, David the follow, dude. Well on the stream. All right, next up in P10, we have got Carlos Sainz. I'm starting to think my neck looking up at chat is what's making my neck sore. Excuse me. Carlos Sainz, what do you rate Carlos Sainz out of 10? Let me know in chat. Guys, if you're just tuning into the stream, welcome in. Every single Monday after Grand Prix weekend, we do driver ratings on YouTube and Twitch. So if you're enjoying it so far, be sure to follow down below. We're going in reverse finishing order, so we're up to P10 now. For Carlos. Oh my God. Tahor, thank you for the follow as well. 7 only for his positions. Oh, wait. I need to do my spiel first before I start reading chat. Okay, so Carlos got out-qualified. Sorry. Carlos's qualifying is basically irrelevant because his banking lap was actually decent. And then he got blocked by Hadja, which is not his fault at all. So that's a real shame. So he started P17, P16, something like that, depending on who had pens in front. I can't remember now. And he managed to move himself up into the points to get P10. Obviously, his teammate retired, so we couldn't really judge him to Albon, and also Albon was on a shit strat. But I think, given the fact that Sainz, out of no fault of his own, qualified bad and was able to recover to where he probably should have been, I mean, I would have liked to have seen him beat Ocon. But then again, because of the safety car, maybe he was going to, but we'd never know. Bro, how has Hulkenberg finished 13 seconds ahead of Ocon and Sainz? What the fuck? That man's crazy. Yeah, look, I think Sainz has had a good weekend, given the circumstances. Yeah, I obviously, we didn't get to show what he could actually do in qualifying, and then he's moved as well up the grid nicely back to where he should be. I'd say a solid 7.5. I'm going to say 7.5 for Sainz. Hulkenberg's supremacy around 7 or 8. I don't know how he ended up in the points. Seems like legit magic, no points taken for qualifying. Great race, but then his qualifying wasn't good. Yeah, you got to remember he got blocked in qualifying, though. 5. I didn't like how he dive-bombed on Hulk with a blocked front. You're going to give him a 5 for that? I mean, that wasn't a great move, but he got the move done. No pen, no nothing. Bro, my water is so warm. Need to see Hulk in a top team. Imagine what he could do. Yeah, I mean, I guess he had his time at Renault and he got beaten by Ricciardo. Yeah. It's a shame he left Haas with how... It's a shame he left Haas with how Haas is looking, but also Sauber seems like they're on the up now, so... Yeah. Alright. Next up, in P9, we have got Esteban Ocon. What do you rate Esteban Ocon out of 10? Get your votes in chat. Again, we normally have polls in chat for you guys to vote on, but the poll website that I use is broken right now, so... No polls. Instead, just type in chat what you vote for. Give me 1 sec, guys. Superfly ladies. So I just having a look and see if there's any F1 movie news coming out. It's cool to see a bunch of creators got invited to the premiere. Shout out Ash, got invited by KFC to go. KFC is got tickets. Is it part of the movie? That's kind of cool. Oh, maybe they're doing like a special like KFC meal or some shit. I don't know. But yeah. Anyways, back to this. Sorry. I just keep my eye on the F1 movie stuff on my second monitor. Okay. So Esteban Ocon. Qualified P15. Now, he got qualified by his teammate by 3/10, like I mentioned before. But he got lucky with the strategy, I guess, to have finished ahead of Behrman and in the points. But at the same time, he made the strategy work. Yeah, I think, again, Haas had a very under-the-radar weekend. And I think, I think performance-wise, he was probably on par with Behrman. And we gave Behrman a 6. But Ocon made the strat work. Wait, what did I give Behrman a 6? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I've given Behrman too low of a rating. I feel like Ocon also deserves a 7.5. Like Sainz, he managed to hold off Sainz. He had good race pace. I think it's a shame that he got out-qualified by Behrman and got lucky with the strategy, but he made it work. So I'm gonna say 7.5 for Ocon. Now I feel like I need to give Behrman a higher rating because Behrman wasn't slower than Ocon. It just he wasn't able to benefit from it. So yeah, I know 7.5 for Ocon. Just one extra point in my scoring for that place above Carlos. Other than that, he did pretty well. Would be a 10 if he finished above 9th, do you reckon? We're going to respect that. Ocon is 9th in the standings and a half. Yeah, that's crazy. Wait, you're giving Ocon a 2. Why Ocon a 2? Ocon a solid 7, 8, 8.5, 8, 8, 8. Yeah, maybe I've rated him too low here. Like, he's got him points. No, I need to give Ocon an 8. Oh, not an 88. I'm going to give Ocon an 8. I'm going to go back to Behrman. Now that I think about it, Behrman should be a 7. Behrman should be a 7. I mean, he out-qualified Ocon. He maybe didn't have the strat work out for him. But I don't think that's his fault. Maybe it could be a 7.5. I think he's done pretty good for the Haas considering the cars around him. Yeah. Anyways, 8 for Ocon. We'll move on. All right, in P8. We have got Nico Hulkenberg. All right, moving on to the big boys and the big ratings now. What do you rate Nico Hulkenberg? Nico Hulkenberg's weekend out of 10. Sorry, one sec. Okay, sorry, back to this. I keep getting distracted. Okay, so Nico Hulkenberg qualified P13. So we out-qualified Bortoleto only by 60 milliseconds. But 3 positions higher. He out-qualified Behrman and Ocon, Stroll, Lawson, and Gasly. I think he did the max he could in qualifying. Maybe there's a world he could have gotten 40 more milliseconds on Colapinto and 80 more milliseconds on Yuki. And no, that's it, yeah. But I think he's done really, really well for the Sauber in qualifying. And then in the race, he got a little bit lucky with Albon and Colapinto going off track and getting 2 positions there. But, you know, you got to be in it to win it. And he was there and capitalized on it. And then he made the strat work. Great race pace. Got lucky with the safety car. Everything went in Hulkenberg's way. But he put himself in a position to benefit from it. So I'm going to give Hulkenberg a 9. I can't give him a 10 because unlike Spain where he went above and beyond and, like, it was purely, like, that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Hulkenberg. A lot of factors come into this one which weren't about him. So I'm going to give him a 9. But that is very, very good for Hulkenberg in a Sauber. Very, very solid weekend. Yeah, and again, there's a little bit more of room for improvement in performance in qualifying as well. Ponder's rating based on performance, and I rate based on how great he is. I don't see where he could do more, right? 9 would be 10 if he didn't raise the precedent in Barcelona. True. If maybe taking Spain out of the picture, we would have thought this would be a great result. But I still don't think I would have given it a 10. If it wasn't for Spain, I still don't think I would have given it a 10. He had room for improvement in qualifying, like I said. And I think he did get lucky out in the race. But still, very solid 9 performance, in my opinion. Hulkenberg's killing it, man. Hulkenberg's killing it. He did do very well to avoid crashing into Albon, to be fair. You know, 100%. 100%. All right. Next up, we have got Fernando Alonso. What do you rate Fernando Alonso out of 10? What do you rate his weekend out of 10, I should say? So, Alonso qualified P6. Best of the rest. He outqualified Lando and Charles. He outqualified Hadjar, Albon, Yuki, Colapinto, and his teammate by 5/10. He absolutely smashed it. I'd give him a 10 out of 10 in qualifying. There's nothing more he could have done. If he had done more, he would have outqualified Lewis, which is crazy to think about. So, yeah, very, very good quality from Alonso. And then in the race, he obviously dropped behind Charles, but Charles in a Ferrari. Before the safety car came out, he was 26 seconds off of Hamilton. 2 seconds up the road from Hulkenberg. What the fuck? How was Hulkenberg there, bro? Anyways. Yeah, race pace was amazing. Race pace was amazing. Quality pace was amazing. Finished so far ahead of his teammate. He didn't do anything wrong. I don't know. Part of me is like, he probably deserves a 10. Like, he did the max he could in the Aston. Why shouldn't I give him a 10? I'm seeing you guys saying 9s and even some 8s. Why shouldn't I give him a 10? Alonso was amazing. 9, I'd go higher. Spectacular. For the people who didn't say 10, well, why not? Def is best quality of the year. Emily wasn't ahead of any front runners. Stroll said the car is slow. I mean, yeah, Stroll. I don't know, it's a weird one because it's like, I want to give him a 10, but at the same time, I'm like, he didn't do anything to like wow me. I don't know. And how far ahead of his teammate he is? I think at the very least it's a 9.5. But like, why shouldn't it be a 10? I can't think of a reason not to give it 10. The only thing I could say is he could have outqualified Lewis if he had 60 more milliseconds. But that's more Lewis being poo than him being bad, than Alonso having more room. I guess you could argue like Alonso didn't really have to work for that result. And Lewis having damage, maybe he could have been closer to Lewis, but I'm going to go 9.5. I'm going to say it's not a 10 solely because it could have been better if the race wasn't so boring. And I know that's like harsh to rate someone's performance based off of a race being bad, but like he didn't really have to do much in the race to get his result. You know, Lewis had floor damage as well, so he was also way down on Lewis. Defended Norris at the start. Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm going to go 9.5. I don't think, yeah, he didn't do anything wrong, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like a 10 weekend. Doesn't feel like a 10 weekend. Man, maybe I'm being harsh, but we'll go 9.5 for Alonso. The car's not that bad. Can't use Stroll as a benchmark. Yeah, that too. It's hard to compare when his teammates absolute bum cheeks. But yeah. All right, next driver. We have got Lewis Hamilton. What do you rate Lewis Hamilton's weekend out of 10? Vote in chat. Getting gapped by someone who had no brakes for a bit and a hole in his floor is crazy. Yeah, true. All right. Lewis Hamilton. Hard one to rate because he had damage in the race, but qualifying, he qualified P5. Look, he did out-qualify Alonso barely and Norris and Leclerc, but yeah, he got qualified by Antonelli, by Piastri, by Max, by Russell. It sucks because Leclerc's banker that he screwed up was only 1/10 off Lewis. So I think Lewis actually had a poor qualifying. And Charles said that they could have been fighting for pole. So Lewis was 6/10 off of pole. I don't think that was a great qualifying from Lewis, if I'm being honest. But at the end of the day, he still got 5th. And then in the race, he dropped to P6 behind Charles. He got floor damage from the fucking groundhog that he killed, Sag. But, yeah, not a good weekend. Sorry. Not, terrible from Lewis, but nothing great. It's kind of hard to rank him because of that damage. So, I don't know. I'm thinking like a 5. I'm thinking a dead 5. Qualifying could have been better. Way better. But it wasn't bad. But it maybe didn't look bad because Leclerc didn't do his lap. But he still did better than Leclerc. And then the race, he had damage, so we don't really know. But then again, like, I don't know. We'll just give him a 5. We'll just have to give Lewis a 5. Because Ferrari fucked up with his quality lap, they sent him out too early and didn't have enough fuel for another one. Wait, is that actually what happened? Oof. I mean, yeah, if that's the case, that's tough. That's tough. He didn't wreck. Yeah, true. Lewis nearly a podium if he didn't have damage. You reckon he would have a podium? But yeah, but imagine where Leclerc would have been. But then again, Leclerc fucked up his lap, so, yeah. In the circumstances of this race, he did everything he could result-wise. Wait, you're talking about Alonso, right? Yeah. 5's too low, you reckon? Maybe given the circumstances of what I've just been told with qualifying and him having damage. I mean, yeah. Maybe, but then I'm just like, it's just, I don't know. Am I just raising it because Ferrari's bad? I'll go 6. I'll go 6. He's done well to get P6. I'll go 6 for P6. He's done well to get P6 with damage. He's done well to get P5 in qualifying with his strat. But I still think he would have gotten absolutely wiped if Leclerc had done his lap. But then again, Leclerc didn't do his lap. So we'll never know. We'll never know. I'm going to go 6 for Lewis. Maybe that's too kind, but yeah. All right, next up. Charles Leclerc, get your votes in. Or type in chat what you vote for. Let's see if the poll website's up. Back up. No, poll website's still broken. Yeah, guys, if you're just tuning on in, welcome. We are doing our Grand Prix review and drive ratings every single Monday after a Grand Prix. We hop on the stream, Twitch and YouTube, and we rate all the drivers out of 10, which we're doing right now. Stick around after the ratings as well. We're going to be watching the F1 movie world premiere, red carpet, which is going to be happening very soon. So stick around for that. Yeah. Anyways, Charles Leclerc. Qualified P8. He got out-qualified by Norris, Alonso, and his teammate Lewis. He said himself he probably could have been fighting for pole, so that's disappointing. He made a mistake by... yes, I see how the mistake happens when the dirty air from Hadja in front, like, that would cause that to happen, but at the same time, like, it wasn't as bad. I think he just came in too hot, if I'm being completely honest. And also, I guess you could blame Ferrari for putting him in that spot. But still, not a great qualifying. In the race, he managed to finish ahead of Lewis. Obviously, that could be because of the floor damage that Lewis had. Lewis is 20 seconds. Leclerc finished 20 seconds ahead of Lewis in the end. And he was 17 seconds off of Norris. Look, I think Leclerc's race pace was good. I think it was weird, the strategy that Ferrari wanted to put him onto. But yeah, I think it's a weird, I don't know. It's a weird one because I think Leclerc fucked up his quali. Lewis didn't. But Leclerc showed better pace in quali than Lewis. And then Leclerc did better in the race, but it's hard to tell because Lewis had damage. So, I don't know. What did I give Lewis? A 6? Maybe I get 6.5 to Leclerc. Or a 7. A lot of you guys are saying 7, but like... I think you're underestimating how, like, Leclerc made a mistake on his lap. Okay, maybe I'll give Leclerc the benefit of the doubt then. Give him a 7. Or for the fact that the mistake in quali was his team putting him in the wrong position. I've been waiting for a long time. He made a mistake and then got dirty after the first mistake. Yeah, true. He did make 2 mistakes on his lap. That is right. I would like to know exactly what that poor animal did to his floor. Yeah, how to break it. Like, all, you know, they go over curbs and all the shit, and then a little animal just completely wrecks the floor. Like, how? Sachi boxes on my dick. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about Leclerc. You guys have anything to add? The poll was a bit optimistic towards it. Yeah, oh yeah, true. Pole, but he was saying he'd be in the fight for pole, so he could have been like with Max and stuff. But yeah, quality was so disappointing for me. He had potential. Yeah, exactly. I don't really have much more to say. Jitski. Wow. Wait, what? I may cause hate because I think that Ferrari is capable of more. And Charles was just chilling and making wrong strat calls. I mean, a rabbit in Le Mans made the car go into repair. Yeah, true. I don't think Leclerc would have gone pole. No, sorry. He said in the fight for pole. I'll rephrase. In the fight for pole, not for pole. Yeah. That's kind of confused, right? No worries. I was just wondering what you're confused at. All right, next up, moving on to the top 4. Oscar Piastri. Now, I think this is going to be a very polarizing one. I'm curious to see your guys' thoughts. What do you rate Oscar Piastri's weekend out of 10? Let me know in chat. I'm going to be harsh on Piastri here because I think I should be harsh on Piastri because I've been harsh on Lando in the fastest car this year. Look, was McLaren the clear fastest car this weekend? No. But was it the fastest car? I think it was. I'm going to be honest. I still think it was. Or put it this way. It was still a good enough car to win the race. It was still a good enough car to win the race. And in qualifying, him and Lando decided with the team. Again, I always say, like, we can blame the team for some things, but when it comes to the tire that they prefer, Lando and Piastri also are part of this decision. They chose soft tire. which was the completely wrong decision. They went out on softs. They overheated on their lap. Lando makes 2 mistakes. Piastri isn't able to push as much. Now, I will give Piastri props. For him to be only 70 milliseconds off of Max on those softs was a great lap. But I think the decision to go onto softs is what cost him P2 and maybe pole. I think Russell's pole was perfect, like absolutely perfect. I don't think Piastri or Max could have beaten that unless they do a perfect lap themselves. Yeah, so I think Piastri's fucked up by choosing the softs. But at the end of the day, I think he's done a good job with the softs. He's outqualified Antonelli, Hamilton, Alonso, Norris, and Leclerc, and obviously his teammate by 5/10. Norris making multiple mistakes on his lap, Piastri not doing that. In the race, though, Piastri's race pace sucked. He lost a position off the start to Antonelli. He then couldn't keep up or pass, or let alone, he couldn't even keep up, let alone, he couldn't let pass, let alone, he couldn't keep up with, let alone pass Kimi. Now, Lando was on the better strategy, but overall, Lando had much better pace. Obviously, if it wasn't for Lando being an idiot and crashing into the back of Piastri, I think Piastri would have eventually got overtaken. But I think Piastri did a good job of defending and forcing Lando into a mistake. I think, you know, he got caught out from that dive, but then got him down into the chicane with a beautiful braking, and then obviously defended well enough to the point where Lando literally crumbled under pressure. So you got to give props to Piastri for that. But in the end, he's finished 4th. He's finished behind Kimi Antonelli. As race pace lacked, he was slower than his teammate. Yeah, I still think Piastri's had a good weekend, but I just think relative to where that car should be, I think it's not that great. It's his worst weekend of the year, obviously, other than Australia. I would still argue he did better in Australia. His qualifying pace was better, and his race pace was better, I think, in Australia. It's just that mistake that cost him. So yeah, for those reasons, I think I'm going to give Oscar a 6.5. I think if 7's a good weekend, he was just a little bit below good. It was above average weekend for Piastri. Australia, he was better until the spin. Yeah, I saw a strange comment that Max helped Kimi to overtake Oscar. I would like to hear what your thoughts are. I saw a strange comment Max helped Kimi to overtake Oscar. Helped Kimi? I don't know if he helped him, maybe unintentionally, but yeah. I would not say it was the wrong tire choice because Lando used medium and it was a great call. The race was a mess in some sectors. I'm starting to think McLaren is getting overrated. They are a little bit. They are a little bit. What could have happened was that the animal bounced under the car and damaged weaker parts of the frame. Oh, yeah. Connor. Connor. What is up, dude? On the stream. Crashed and tried too hard and lost the car. For both drivers, it's a 7 and Fry it's a -10 for being clowns. Okay. Paul was, wait, where was up to a YouTube chat? Piastri didn't have the new upgrades that Lando had, by the way. Well, the upgrade debate is interesting. One, I thought Oscar got the upgrades later on in the weekend. I thought they just tried one person trying to practice one trying to practice 2. I'm not sure. Either way, the upgrade debate's interesting because, like, an upgrade is only an upgrade once the team figures out how to use the upgrades properly in the setup. So, and I think they were minimal anyways, so I don't even want to take that into account, but good point, good point. He wasn't comfortable on this track, and we saw it in practice, so this week was just a damage limitation. Yeah, true. Piastri didn't want the upgrades. He stood with his old upgrades. Stopped with the excuses. I cannot wait 2 weeks for the next race. I'm bouncing to see what happens next year. Well, it's a week. 1 week of no F1. Yeah, McLaren kind of sucks on the straight, so he might have overtaken Kimi. It sucks on the straight? Maybe this was the first race where we saw the kind of flexi wing kind of play a little bit of a part. I cannot wait. The upgrades were made to make Lando more comfortable with the car, not to make the car better at all. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to stick with a 6.5 for Piastri. I'm going to stick with a 6.5. All right. Next up, we've got Kimi Antonelli. First podium in Formula 1. What do you rate him out of 10? Get your votes in chat. Oh, my nose, bro. How do I check how long I've been live for on YouTube? Okay, we've been live for an hour, I see. Okay, Kimi. In qualifying, he got out-qualified by his teammate by 5 tenths. So look, It's disappointing. You know, at the end of the day, we're rating performances, so we're not rating results here. 5/10 off of his teammate. He got out-qualified by Piastri and Max, but obviously he's done well in out-qualifying Lewis, Lando, and Leclerc. I guess the way you got to look at it is if Lando and Leclerc didn't bottle their laps, his qualifying pace was so bad that he wouldn't have finished on the podium. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's not a great qualifying because of how far he was off of Russell. However, in the race, he got past Piastri straight away. He did an amazing job. And honestly, that set him up for the podium from there. He did a great job in defending Piastri. He didn't have to do too much work, but his race pace was great. I think that was probably the best we've seen Antonelli's race pace all season. He was 2.5 seconds off of Max, who was 2.5 seconds off Russell. So he was 5 seconds off his teammate. Amazing race pace. Yeah, I think Kimi smashed it in the race. First podium. I'm obviously not going to give him a 10 because his qualifying was very disappointing. You know, 5/10 off of his teammate. I'm going to give him at least... Oh, it's hard. I'm tossing up between a 9 and an 8.5. 8.5 is... 8.5 is like... 8.5 is what I'd give him for being 5/10 off your teammate. Like that is very bad. But then again, he showed that his pace... I'm going to 8.5. I'm going to 8.5. At the end of the day, his qualifying was very disappointing. I'm not going to point off for that. And then you got to knock 0.5 off for being slower than your teammate. Again, great race pace. Again, for Kimi's standards, I'd give this a 9.5 or a 10. Amazing. For a rookie to go up against the big dogs and get a podium and have great race pace, it's a 10. But again, that's not how I do ratings. I do it solely off of performance. And realistically, he was 5/10 down on his teammate. And obviously, he was slower than his teammate in the race, despite the race pace being good. So I'm going to say 8.5. But amazing weekend from Antonelli. Amazing weekend. His racecraft was superb. Yeah, 100%. He didn't really have to defend too much from Piastri, but what he did do was really good. It wasn't very disappointing because he's still P4. But again, the P4 is because of Charles and Lando making mistakes. But yeah. Kimi might go. What's up, Frag Shot? I definitely think he could overtake Max, but he did defend quite good. His race pace was matching George, though, which is surprising. Yeah, it was really, really, really good to see. I did not expect that. Maybe there's an argument that the Mercedes was the quickest car and Russell was backing off to save his tires, which made it look like Antonelli was as quick as Russell, but we'll never know. It is a lower high speed than pretty much every other car on the straight. Quality time on news mediums, if I recall correctly. Right, okay. Oh my god, I'm choking on my own spit here. What the fuck? The fact that he was even debating in his head which McLaren to give the slipstream down the straight shows how impressive and in tune he is under pressure. Oh my god, I'm dying. Max pitted twice when Kimi was about to overtake him. It was hilarious. The Merc engines have been worrying, especially for customers. When you say worrying, do you mean like worryingly good or worryingly bad? Like breaking down? Anyways, let's move on to the top two now. Well done, Kimi. Max Verstappen. What do we rate Max Verstappen out of 10? Type in chat what you vote for Max. Wait, what am I missing? YouTube chat. Piastri didn't want the upgrades. Where's I read that? I'd say an 8. I think Lando, if he didn't act like a damn idiot and fuck up, he would have gone Kimi. Lando was clearly quicker. Oh, that was a response to Kimi, I see. Oh my god, I'm choking on my own fucking shit. All right, Max Verstappen. Typical weekend from Max, right? Lando's fumbling. Leclerc's fumbling. Lewis is slow. Antonelli and... well, in this case, let's just say 2 drivers not as quick as Max. And Max does everything he can in that Red Bull to try keep up with a faster car or a somewhat equal car. I think we could agree Mercedes was quicker than Red Bull this weekend, right? In terms of car and quality pace. I mean, Russell just looks so on it. Obviously, that's props to Russell 100%, but the Mercedes, I think, was the better car. But yeah, in qualifying, Max out-qualifies Tsunoda by 5/10. He out-qualifies Oscar Piastri, who, again, I've already spoken about before. I feel like Piastri wrong decision on the tires. Max made the right decision with the mediums. Outqualifies Kimi, Hamilton, Lando, Leclerc makes no mistakes. He wasn't as quick as Russell though, 1.5 tenths off. Absolutely amazing lap from Russell. I guess you could say Max could have done better, but I think that's more just props to Russell and how perfect his lap was. And then in the race, Max finishes P2. I think he had a try at Russell at the start of the race, but cooked his tires, pitted, tried to undercut, didn't work. Held off Kimi Antonelli behind, pitted, held off Kimi Antonelli again. Maybe there's an argument if Kimi didn't have to worry about the guys behind. Maybe Kimi could have got Max, but yeah, Max kept with Russell as well. Like, think about, we're going to talk about Russell in a second, but think about how good Russell's weekend was. And Max was only 2.6 seconds off of Russell by the end of the race, before the safety car came out. Yeah, I think Max, once again, just showing how good his fucking car, how good he is, despite this car not being the best. So yeah, for those reasons, I'm going to give Max a... It's at least a 9. But part of me is like, this could be a 9.5. Like, I think, in my opinion, like, this is the way I see it. I think that Red Bull, assuming no other drivers on the grid, like, assuming Russell, Lando... The way I see it is, assuming Russell, Lando, and Piastri and Antonelli drive where they should do with their cars, Max should be finishing P5, right? I think the Red Bull was slower than the Mercedes and the McLaren this weekend. So Max has outpaced and made less mistakes than Antonelli, Piastri, and Lando, and gone on to P2. Like, when you think about it, that's an exceptional result in a Red Bull. The only way he would have got a 10 is if he had beaten Russell, which I think is a huge ask for yesterday. I think he tried his best. I'm going to go 9.5 for Max. I'm going to go 9.5 for Max. I think genuinely it's just... and the thing is, I think for Max's standards, it's probably like a 9. But again, we're rating purely performance, and like, we've got to keep remembering, like, this is why Max is so good. He's putting this car in P2 whilst everyone else is fumbling behind. Number 5, what more could he do? Plus team comparisons, insane. Yeah, teammates in P12 too. Yeah, exactly. Wolf among lambs. Yeah, exactly. What's up, Danger Boy? Let's be real. The only time Max could overtake George is at the start, but alas, other than that, he did everything required and did it clean. 9.5. So F1 Onyx from the stream, dude. Solid 9. He made no mistakes and maximized the car. I think it's a 9. 8.5. The Rebel isn't good in dirty air, but he can't really do anything else except put pressure on Russell. I think it'd be higher than 8.5 then, wouldn't it be, though, Hayden? All right, we move on to our final driver in P1. The amazing weekend from George Russell. What do you rate George Russell out of 10? Guys, if you're just tuning in the stream, we're doing our driver ratings every Monday after a Grand Prix weekend. We hop on the stream and we rate the drivers out of 10. So if you're enjoying it so far, be sure to follow down below. Join us after the Austrian Grand Prix. But let's talk about G-Russ. What a weekend from this man. P1 by 1.5 tenths over Max Verstappen. Again, Piastri making the wrong decision. Lando and Leclerc fumbling. And even with Max doing almost everything he can, Russell still outqualifies him by 1.5 tenths. And he outqualified his teammate by 5 tenths. And then, in the race, great race start. Doesn't let Max's pressure affect him. Doesn't even let Max get close enough to go for a move. Perfect work with the pit stops. And just drives off into the distance. Manages the race super well. Obviously, there's an argument that Kimi Antonelli being close to Russell's pace, maybe Russell wasn't quick, but I think it's more Russell was just knowing, like, all right, as long as I keep the gap to Max, I can keep holding my tires. And yeah, he's done absolutely nothing wrong this weekend, and he has absolutely excelled. So it is a 10 for Russell. He joins the 10 club for 2025. He's absolutely smashed it. Yeah, it's races like that where I'm like, man, imagine Russell was in that McLaren. You know what I mean? Like, imagine Russell versus Piastri. You know what I mean? Like, I love Lando. Well, I wouldn't say love now. I like Lando. And I think he's a good driver. But the more this season's going on, the more I'm like, man, imagine Max was in that McLaren. Or imagine Russell was in that McLaren. Imagine Leclerc was in that McLaren. How much better this season would be. I mean, I guess we wouldn't have as many talking points. But maybe we'd have more talking points because we actually have good on-track racing. But, yeah. I feel like a Russell Max championship would feed families, man. It would feed families, would feed generations. Russell trying to give Max a penalty at the end was stupid. 9.5. Yeah, that did annoy me a little bit. But again, we'll give him benefit of the doubt. Maybe he wasn't actually trying to give him a pen. Maybe he was genuinely braking to get a gap to the safety car. But yeah. Amazing pole, fastest lap, and the win. He did everything he needed to. Oh, you got fastest lap as well. Good point. Good point. His rookie teammate Russell did also get the fastest lap. How many 10s this year? Does anyone keep track? I need to go back in the VODs and have a look. And add them all up. Imagine Max and that McLaren. A Russell versus McLaren title fight would be peak. I would like to take out 0.5 for his cheeky try to give pen, but his personality had nothing to do with his racecraft this weekend. Yeah, fair. Sure, on the McLaren would be funny. Still last. George 5 because of his tricks. Oh, you can't give him a 5 because of that. Aiden's giving him a 10. 10 easy. 10 was in control the whole weekend. Yeah, he's absolutely smashed it. All right, guys. 10 for Russell to end. So who are highest ratings? 10 for Russell, 9.5 for Max, and I guess Hulkenberg with the top 3 this weekend. Anyways, guys, that wraps up the driver ratings. Thank you all for joining me. If you enjoyed, be sure to the follow button down below. We do driver ratings like this every single Monday after a Grand Prix weekend. So be sure to join me after the Austrian Grand Prix weekend. Apologies that the polls didn't work. Usually we have a poll up here that viewers can vote on, but the polls weren't working. So hopefully that's fixed before the next time. Otherwise I'll have to find a new way to do polls. Yeah, YouTube, I'm going to end the stream there. We're going to be staying live on Twitch to watch the F1 movie world premiere. So come join us on Twitch, linked in chat. Otherwise, YouTube, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe down below. Have a good rest of your night, morning, evening, whatever it may be. I'll see you guys. When will be the next YouTube stream? Next YouTube stream will be, I guess, FP1 in Austria. Catch you guys later, YouTube. Bye-bye.